Welcome to the We Are VIP podcast. Each week, your host, Casey Hasten, Director of Recruiting at VIP, will bring you valuable insights from thought leaders, introduce you to incredible companies, and bring you tips for landing your dream job from our team of executive recruiters at VIP. And now, Casey Hasten.
Welcome to the We Are VIP podcast, a podcast devoted to adding value to your career or candidate search, brought to you by VIP. I'm your host, Casey Hasten. I'm an executive recruiter, director of recruiting with VIP, and your all-around hiring guru. And it is my absolute honor to bring to you each week amazing guests who are traveling their own journeys and willing to share those journeys with you. So today I'd like to welcome Christine Henry-Musa, the founder and chief executive officer of Select Chef. Christine has over a decade of executive experience across multiple industries and a proven track record of leading high-performing teams, driving growth, and championing innovation. She earned her bachelor's degree from Princeton University and an MBA from Harvard Business School. Christine has recently launched her health and wellness initiative with a focus on helping companies engage their workforce through a variety of methods, such as catered lunches to encourage gathering, cooking classes, and more. And so we thank you so much for being here today, Christine.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, and I think one thing that we neglected to talk about is, yes, you're doing this for companies, but you're also helping individuals.
Definitely. A large part of our business is actually focusing on busy working professionals who are time crunched and they value health and wellness. So we come right in and address a major pain point for those individuals.
Okay, so let's get into this very quickly. So tell me about yourself and then kind of roll into why you started Select Chef. Where's your passion there?
Sure. So I've spent my entire executive career in healthcare post-business school, and I was always really passionate about healthcare and wellness. And for me, the pivotal point was when I became a mom. I started to spend so much time reading labels, educating myself on nutrition and ingredients to understand what am I putting in and on my body, because it's going to impact me and my pregnancy. And then after my son was born, then thinking about, okay, what is he going to be putting into his body and how can I best set him up for success? Because nutritional factors play an important role in all of our development at every stage, particularly for young infants as well. So for me, that's where it started, wanting to have wholesome, pure foods that my child can enjoy, as well as the overall family.
That is so very interesting. And so take us back just a step before Select Chef and before you got into your nutritional journey, because you were a high-powered executive.
Yes, so I actually would say that my last public role, I was vice president of development for a Fortune 100 company in healthcare, and it was a great role. I oversaw the operations, the development operations for a $1 billion business unit. So I would often, be traveling across Texas and the southwestern part of the country, and it was a really fulfilling role, exciting work that we were doing in terms of, making a difference in the lives of patients. So that was my last public company role before kind of jumping on the entrepreneurial journey.
And that's a lot, because that's a lot going from Fortune 100, corporate all the way, probably working. How many hours were you working?
I didn't keep track. Once you went past a certain number, you just didn't sleep much. I remember, I think it was probably the locking the most flights within the company at that time as well, within the development team. So a lot of travel, not a lot of sleep. Also, that was a point in time where I didn't have children as well. So
it's still a lot, even without children, traveling like that. And, it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on what you eat.
Yes, it does.
And I can see where that would translate to, once you did become pregnant, wanting to really explore those healthy, alternatives, but also finding a way that takes time to provide healthy alternatives. So how did you come across that? And tell me how that led to Select Chef, what you're offering now.
Sure. So you hit the nail on the head with that time, right? How many of us would like to do better with our health and wellness and our nutrition? And we constantly hit the obstacle of time. If I had enough time, all of the different things that you would do within your life, right? And being able to provide yourself and your family with high quality nutrition, I'm sure everyone would desire to do that.
Yes.
If given the means and also time, right? So a lot of busy professionals, they are already in a position where they outsource a lot of key tasks that make their lives easier. So this then becomes another thing that you can outsource. You can sit back and enjoy family time. You can sit back, you can read a book, you can go for a walk. You can do whatever self-care you would need to do while your chef prepares a wonderful meal for you that is customized to your tastes,
yes.
As well as any nutritional guidance that you need your chef to follow. And that's really what it was about. I didn't want a cookie cutter solution. I didn't want something delivered in a box. I wanted someone who would care for the family, just like caring for my family, almost like a mother. I want our clients to feel cared for. And that part of Select Chef is a really important part because it talks about our core values. And that value is the care that we provide towards people in terms of how we interact with them, how we treat them. And it goes far beyond just the nutritional value in the food.
So can I share my experience with Select
Chef?
Chef?
I would love you to.
And I love that we timed it when we did, because when you approached me about having a chef come to my home, and I was just like, okay, let me think about when this is going to have the most impact. Well, the third week of the month, as you know, is my busiest week, because that's my Success North Dallas week, and I've got so many other events that always fall on the third Wednesday. And Sundays are my meal planning days. So I meal plan, I grocery shop, and I meal prep. And that takes a lot of time on top of having to do all the extra things that I have to do that week. So we decided the third week would be the week for the chef to come. I have to tell you, first of all, I was not expecting such a brilliant conversationalist to come to my house, such a well-traveled person with so much knowledge. We just had such great conversations when I was supposed to be working. But it was so much fun because, Chef Unu showed up and had all the prepared meals. So it wasn't just one meal, it was meals for the week. And I got to choose the meals. And he was talking about it, what he was doing, how he was making it as he was doing. And if I had walked away, he would have been just fine in the kitchen, but I was fascinated by what he was doing, right? And so I brought my computer into the kitchen, and so I'm sitting there working. And usually I am working till about 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday evenings to get the agenda out to the team for Success North Dallas.
It's a long day.
Yeah. And so he gets there at about 2-ish, 3-ish, and I'm sitting there working while and we're talking, and he's cooking, and he's going chop, 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 and cleaning up as he goes. It was amazing. And I was hits about 5 o'clock. I hit send. I would finish the agenda by 5 o'clock because he was sitting there giving me my time back by doing all the cooking. I didn't have to meal plan. I didn't have to meal prep. I didn't have to do any of that. And I got to bed early that night.
Quality of life.
Yes.
Right?
It was, and I had, so those days, those are 10-hour days for me that week, right? And that's when you come home and you make poor choices about what you want to eat. Well, I had healthy meals in the freezer. And so all I did was go in, pick it up, put it in. Nothing to think about, nothing to worry about. No time. So it's a real gift.
It's a gift. And, when you said that you had nothing to think about, also just think about, for busy professionals, how much energy you spend on making decisions, executive decisions throughout the course of a day. What to have for dinner is a major stressor for many professional families.
Yes.
For this exact reason, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have another decision that I have to make, and it's important for my family.
Yes.
So it also takes that away, right? When you have a chef who's creating customized menus for you, it's, they're bringing diversity as well as unique options that you can consider.
So what other services does Select Chef offer besides the in-home chef for the family?
Sure. So besides the in-home chef for the family, we also do a lot of corporate catering as well. So we'll work with lots of companies and who want to do something unique for their base of employees, and perhaps they also value health and wellness, and they like the fact that we focus on fresh, natural, organic foods. That's not the case for every corporate caterer. So that's one of the differentiating factors for us as well.
I know that I have found as I'm talking to a lot of holistic coaches, dietitians, and stuff like that, that they have some of their own recipes that they want their clients to use, but the clients find it too cumbersome. And I know that I've talked to them about collaborating with you to have your chefs create their recipes. So where do you see that going?
So I think there's a lot of potential with that because, lots of ideas, right? Everyone can have ideas in general, even outside of culinary, but the kind of gap is with the execution, and that's where our chefs come in. They're able to take, great input from a dietitian, a nutritionist, or whoever else is providing the nutritional guidance, and they can execute on that. If you need a certain number of macros in your meals, they can accomplish that. If you are on a specific elimination diet or if you're gluten-free, they can customize all of that specifically for your nutritional needs.
That's incredible. And I think that I was just talking to someone today at lunch and I'm going to introduce you to her, that she has gone completely plant-based, like no dairy, none of that. And it has to be gluten-free. And sitting there watching her agonize over the menu today at the restaurant, it was rough. And I think that, and I know that you can't fix that, but I do feel like there's an opportunity that you could come in, because can you provide for people with special needs like that through Select Chef?
Yes, we can. And the funny thing is, the majority of our clients who are using our services on a weekly basis are exactly those people. They have specific dietary needs. It might be even a medical condition, and they need a chef to come in and simplify the process for them so that they can still enjoy great food while adhering to that guidance.
Yeah, that just broke my heart today, watching her try to pick something off the menu. And she was just like, and this is a restaurant she goes to all the time, and they just changed the menu completely on Saturday.
Oh, my goodness.
So, like, the things she was familiar with weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
So it was really, it was a tough meal, but we got through it. So we talked about time and how important that is. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, time is really the only asset that we have. Mm-hmm. And how we use it is up to us, kinda, and because there are things that we have to do. We have to cook for our family. We have to eat. I get so mad when I have to eat sometimes. I'm so tired of having to eat, but you got to do it. Mm-hmm. And then you got to cook. And I can't tell you the number of times that I will toss, don't hate me, pizza rolls in the microwave or mini corn dogs, because it's just so stinking easy.
It's easy. I know. And I mean, we're kind of in a society where everyone wants to hit the easy button, and trying to do that, we literally try to make it that easy for people, where we have a website where you can go online and literally a couple of clicks and you'll have a chef come to your home and they'll take care of you and your family, because it's hard. It's hard on a day-to-day basis. So I'm not judging you at all with that. I know that some days are tough.
It is. And I really do try to be so good and meal plan and meal prep on Sundays. I really do. But sometimes, like this weekend, I'm going to be at a conference all weekend. I don't get home until like 10 o'clock on Sunday.
Okay.
So, that brings up a good question. What if I wanted a chef to come in and cook while I was gone?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah?
Very easy. You just provide your chef with access, or let us know how their chef can get access. They can cook, prep, package, and have everything in your fridge for when you return.
Dang it, why didn't I think about that for this next week?
Next time.
Yes. Okay, so let's ask this question, because this could be a valid concern with that. How do I know your chefs aren't going to steal from me?
Great question. So all of our chefs, I've actually had them, I've worked with them directly, and the majority of our chefs have also been in my home. And it's really important to me that I get to meet each chef, because one of our core values is integrity, right? We know that our chefs are in our clients' homes, which is their most sacred place. And we want our clients to trust our chefs. So not only have we, taken them through a background check and we've interviewed and talked to them, I also talk to them about their core values and who they are, to get to better know them as people, because I want them to be, not only engaging with conversation, but people who are trustworthy as well. That's super important to me.
Yeah. And I think too, and you can imagine, I live alone most of the time. My boyfriend travels quite a bit. And so, for me to invite a chef into my home when I'm the only one there, that can be a little scary. So that's good to know that you're taking them through those background checks and that you've fully vetted them before you send them into your customers' homes. I think that's important. So
yeah, definitely. So I'm often kind of like opening the garage for my chefs. I'm like, I'm not home. Go ahead, go inside, get started. I'll see you when I get back. But literally being able to trust them. But I've also personally met and vetted all of them.
So you use your own chefs? You use your own service?
Oh, yes. Hello, the time management. Yes, and my husband is a great advocate. So yeah, we have our chefs come in and they do meal prep for us throughout the week. And it's great. Right now we had Chef Tony actually who came through. He did a nice Mexican theme for us. So we really were enjoying that. And just, once again, just fresh, great flavors. And the children,
I was going to ask about that. So do they cater to the children too?
They do. That's an important part because since like the whole idea for Select Chef was born out of, my experience being a mom, I want the children to be a part of this culinary experience. So I can't tell you how many times I hear from clients like, oh my gosh, my children, they're ruined now. Like, like, oh my gosh.
Forget the kids.
Yeah, they're like, they're ruined. They're like, no, but it's great because they also are able to appreciate great high quality food, and me knowing, what my son is eating, where it was sourced from, it's organic, it's this, and the fact that those foods meet my standards, that's really important to me.
And the fact that you don't have to go out there and get that stuff, because that takes an incredible amount of time to eat that healthy. Yes. It really does.
It does. Time and energy. And then don't even forget the cleanup at the end of all the cooking.
Oh, that's the best part.
Oh, yeah. Your chef will take care of that as well.
I think my kitchen was cleaner when he left.
And that's what we tell them. We're like, the kitchen should be cleaner than when you arrive. So
that is, and he came so prepared with, I know a lot of people might be scared. They're like, I don't have a chef's kitchen. You don't need to worry about that because they come with all the tools.
They do. So we try to make it less intimidating as well. As long as you have a functional kitchen area, your chef will be fine.
Although I will say Chef Una was pretty impressed with my kitchen setup. You would think that I was some kind of 5-star chef, but I'm not. I just like gadgets.
Wow.
So I have all the gadgets.
He's a gadget person.
Yeah. He was like, do you have this by chance? I was like, oh yeah, I do. He's like, you have a well-equipped kitchen, ma'am.
I love it.
Yeah, he did very good. So, and I know, let's kind of go back to talking about the high quality organic foods. How did you educate yourself originally on this?
So my background, as I mentioned, is in healthcare, and my bachelor's degree was in chemistry. So food science is a really important...
And that was Princeton, right?
That was Princeton, yes.
You're not smart at all.
So no, but really being able to be comfortable with kind of, reading up on articles about nutrition, understanding components, and really just paying more attention to labels and what does each ingredient mean, right? Let's break it down. It should be fairly simple for you to be able to understand what's in your food.
Yes.
Basic ingredients. And if it's, for layman's terms, if you're seeing language on there that you're not able to comprehend or pronounce, you should probably think twice about whether you should be putting it in your body.
Yeah, and that's very true. And, and again, that goes back to the time. That takes a lot of work to look at every single label. And for me, it takes even extra time because I don't like to wear my glasses all the time. And so I have to break the glasses out so I can see the labels. And even then, I sometimes can't read what's on the label because they're so small. So I really try to look for those products that have very minimal ingredients, like my collagen, for example, that I take. There are 5 ingredients, and they're all natural. It's eggshell, was it keratin? No, whatever that comes out of the collagen. I don't know, but it's like the bone marrow, the chicken marrow, there's 5 ingredients, and that's it. It's all natural, and so those are the kind of things that I like to see, but. Then I go grab a bag of potato chips. Wow. And that's not natural.
No, it's probably not.
If you can light a Frito on fire, come on. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that, lighting a Frito on fire.
You literally can light it on fire and it will burn.
Wow.
Tinder.
Well, another interesting thing, I mean, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with this, but, just the fact that, in our country, there are certain products, a lot of snack products that are allowed on shelves that you find
Twinkies.
banned in other countries.
Yes. Or the recipes are modified.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. And then, it's unfortunate during the manufacturing process for lots of, packaged products, there sometimes, is the introduction of contaminants.
Yes.
So we've heard about it from, your baby, God forbid, but, baby food containing, certain types of arsenic or lead. And, it's on across all packaged products where this can happen. So even my baby food for my kids, I made it from scratch, right? I got everything, blended it at home, just to cost less. I know that's intense. I mean, so we're talking about a spectrum here, which not on the spectrum, not on the spectrum, a spectrum. But even if you wanted to have your chef do that, let's say that you have a child who's starting to, try table foods, why not include them in the culinary process? Why not have your chef, take your sweet potatoes from the store. They haven't been packaged. Take the sweet potatoes.
Yep.
Whether you want to bake them, boil them, whatever, blend them, package them for your child. Create, different purees. It's really...
That is such a great idea.
There's lots of different ways that you can engage having a private chef. And once again, it goes to that customization.
Yeah. That is such a great idea. When my son comes to visit, we're going to have to talk because he has IBS. And so maybe talk to you about getting some foods for him that will be less irritable. Because I tend to send him off the rails when he comes to visit me because I don't know how to cook for that, But it's there's just so many different syndromes nowadays. So there is a new product, and again, not going down the rabbit hole, but I do want to bring awareness to it, called Appeal. Have you heard of this?
Appeal?
APEEL. And it's a coating that they're putting on fruits and vegetables now. That as a preservative. And my opinion is, and I want to get your take on this, if something doesn't rot pretty quickly, you probably don't want to eat it because it needs to be fresh. It needs to rot fairly fast.
It does, and unfortunately, that's one coating. But there's the overall practice of spraying different products with different things to kind of maintain optimal ripeness or
for longer.
For longer since things are being transported. So, unfortunately, this is kind of common practice, which is why I typically like to focus on organic foods, which would avoid a lot of that.
Yes. But I think they're even getting away with calling it organic still with that coating on it.
Well, I'm going to have to
look
take
into
another
it.
Look at that.
Look into it because I think the thing is they're saying it's organic because it's not altered before it gets to the store. So it's grown organically and then it's just preserved at the end.
Okay.
So I could be wrong on that, but I've been seeing a lot of mumbling about that because I do take my health seriously and I'm trying to, do things that will help me to live longer and, prolong my life. And I'm getting really big on no preservatives.
As you should.
Yes. So I'm going to quit eating the potato chips.
Quit eating the potato chips and make your life easier. Like one of our clients, they like to say, I have a chef so I can sit down and chew. I don't want to think about anything.
Ooh,
That's all I want to do. Sit down and chew.
And it's so good. So I had a lot, but I have to tell you, my favorite meal was the mushroom risotto.
Oh, that's delicious.
It was so yummy.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. I think that's one of Chef Onu's favorites as well.
Oh, he does. He makes it very, very well. And then he made a special little sauce that was just his afterwards. It was like, he's like, you can put this on anything. And I was like, okay. And it was really spicy.
A spicy sauce.
Yeah.
That's one of his signatures.
Yes. It was so good.
With fresh blended peppers.
Yes. That's it. And so I couldn't eat very much of it at a time, but I did like the flavor. But it like 4 or 5 days, I was like, no, we're done. This stuff is hot because it just kept getting hotter and
hotter as the time went on. Yeah.
So I love all this, and I love that you're giving people time back. And there's so many creative ways that people can do that. But this way is, like you said, everything's on a spectrum. You can go get healthy meals that are prepackaged for you, pre-prepared, or and those are good. There's nothing wrong with those, but there's something really special about having it freshly prepared in your home right then and there so that you can eat it for the week. So what's next for you? What do you got on your, I can't imagine you sitting still.
It's interesting. Right now, I'm actually part of a cohort called the Majera Project, and I'm working with a team of consultants locally in Dallas. And we're working on that question right now, kind of the next step for Select Chef. So we're looking at partnerships with different companies and organizations that align with our core values, align with our focus on health and wellness, and focusing on fresh, natural, organic foods, so that we can bring those services to, their clients as well.
Have you thought about, I'm just throwing this out there, have you thought about taking this into schools?
That's a great question. I have thought about that, and I've spoken with different individuals who represent school districts, and more so I've just spoken with them as just an advisor to help them as they're creating menus for school-age children and what should be considered, because there's a lot of work to be done with creating healthy meals for our children to enjoy in school.
And teaching them to like healthy meals.
And teaching them to like it, because those taste buds, they learn very early what they like and dislike, and you want to be able to broaden their palate at that earlier age.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I feel so sorry for my mom looking back to me as a kid, because I was the pickiest eater. The pickiest. Like, I would not eat nuts. I would not eat peanut butter. I would not eat onions, vegetables, fruit. I wouldn't eat anything, hardly. Not anything. So it was interesting when you say that your palate changes. My palate has finally got a little bit more mature. Like I tried lamb for the first time a few years ago, and now it's like my favorite food ever. So, but it is, I would encourage people to just try some new foods and try some new organic foods, try some new, vegetables that you might not have tried before, and see how that works out for you.
Yeah. I mean, the physicians will tell you, it starts from, it even starts from in utero, like the tasting of the baby. Yes.
I did not know that.
It does, the development of the taste buds happens, later. But, as an infant, they always urge you to try to start with vegetables so that your baby's able to enjoy the healthier foods before you introduce other things. So the whole sophistication of the palate, it takes time, but the broadening can start much earlier.
I love that. Yeah. That is awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some VIP questions. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Excited.
These are our signature questions, and I think that it's so interesting because we've recorded over 200 episodes. So I've asked this question pretty much over 200 times, these 3 questions, and I get a lot of different answers, and I've learned a lot from people. But the first one kind of stumps people sometimes, so we're going to see how you do on it. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. If you were chosen to be one of the first colonists on Mars, what 3 things or people would you take with you?
That's a pretty easy question for me. I would take my 2 children and my husband.
Well,
if we're going to be, starting a colony, home is where the family is.
That's so true. So true. All right. What is one thing you do each morning to set your day up for success?
So I like to read and meditate on the Bible in the morning.
That's my girl.
Yeah, it's amazing. The how you start your day truly sets up the trajectory for 100%. The rest of the day, and really focusing on habits that will create positivity really go a long way.
I couldn't have said it better. Have you read the book, The Miracle Morning?
Miracle Morning.
Yeah? You've read it? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's such a great book. And that's, really for me, that's where my morning ritual solidified, was after reading that book and just really, implementing it, committing to implementing it. Because, as with anything, it takes work, right, to do that. So, and meditation and, journaling is another part of my morning.
That's a really important practice as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right, last question for you. If your life's work was being summarized in a news article, what would the headline be?
So I would say indomitable.
Of course you are.
One word. Short title.
I love it. All right. How do people get in touch with you? Because I know they're going to want to experience this whole chef in your house like I did with Select Chefs. So tell them how to get in touch with you.
Sure. So you can email us at hello@selectchef.com and reach us there. You can also go at www.selectchef.com to learn more about the business.
It is so, and you can see the menu there too, right?
You can see the menu. You can read about our chefs. You can see the services. You can do it all.
Chef Unu, all the way, guys.
They're all fabulous.
I'm sure
They're
they are.
all
I've just had
fabulous.
Chef Unu, and I fell in love with him. So it was really an amazing experience. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I just have one last thing to say to you.
Sure.
You are a VIP.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
And that's a wrap for today. Join us next week here on the We Are VIP podcast. We'd love to know how we can help you be a VIP. To find out more, log on to wearevip.com.